Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. If you haven't subscribed yet, please don't forget to do so. It really means the world to me. So today, let's talk about designer collaborations. I feel like we have been seeing a lot of popular designer collaborations over the past several years, including, for example, the Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami anniversary collaboration, which I feel has raised a lot of questions about accessibility, the real value, and the fear of missing out that these collaborations create. Today, I will start by talking about my own experience of ordering unsuccessfully a Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami handbag from Farfetch. And while overall I feel like Farfetch and myself reached a conclusion to the matter, the entire experience was still less than ideal for me. And thinking about this experience, I started looking online and perhaps just doing a little bit of research of what really happens with these designer collaboration items after all of the hype dies down. And based on what I saw, there are still quite a few options and quite a few places where we can purchase these items in case we really want them. So I will also cover that in this video. And the truth of the matter is that when the initial hype dies down, these designer collaborations items usually become much less desirable because many of them intrinsically actually do not have any special value. There are, however, exceptions to this, and perhaps we will also dive into these exceptions later on in the video. And by the way, my name is Lisa, and I'm your guide to savvy luxury shopping no matter where in the world you are. Subscribe to my channel to learn more about strategic luxury shopping with the emphasis on quality and timelessness of your items. But now, let's start with my experience of purchasing a Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami handbag on Farfetch. So, as you might know, I am a private client on Farfetch. I have been a private client for a couple of years now, so I'm not new to the entire experience. And as a private client, I get access to the fashion concierge service, which can locate and procure rare to find items for Farfetch private clients. And by the way, as you might know, to reach the status of a private client, you need to spend at least 12,000 US dollars or 12,000 euros per year on Farfetch. So, when the Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collection dropped at the beginning of January, I did not think that I would be able to actually secure a bag, or any item to that matter. And that's because I do not live close to a boutique, and buying these items online seemed pretty much impossible. However, several days after the collection dropped, I saw a couple of items, including a couple of handbags, on Farfetch private client concierge website Edit. One of these bags was a Speedy 25 bag in white multicolor, and this was actually my favorite item from the first drop of this collaboration. So I purchased the bag immediately. The retail price was actually slightly higher than the price that I saw on the official website. It was somewhere around 3,500 euro. And according to the description, the item was located in a Hong Kong boutique, so I thought this justified the higher price. And I was very happy and content thinking that I managed to get such a rare item from Farfetch private client fashion concierge service. I also received an email saying that since this is a rare item, I would have to wait several days before the item is shipped. So I patiently waited. And about 6 days after the order was made, my debit card was actually charged for the order, as in the money actually left my account. And just based on my experience of shopping online, I decided that this means that the item is secured and will definitely ship. However, about 4 days afterwards, I actually received a notification that my order was cancelled and I will be refunded for the item. And as you would imagine, I was devastated. Also, because my order was cancelled 9 days after I actually placed it, by that time I really felt like I would not be able to get this particular bag anywhere. I felt like my train has passed. So I wrote to Farfetch, basically asking to know what happened to my order, why did the bag disappear, And I was also requesting them to go ahead and actually secure another bag from Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collection for me, because I felt like I have wasted so much time waiting for this bag from them, and therefore it was kind of their responsibility to help me find and procure this item. I will spare you all the details of all the communication, but to me as a customer, the entire experience was less than acceptable. At some point, I wrote like 3 to 4 emails to the private client customer service, and those emails remained unanswered. And each time I would ask what happened to my order, the customer service representative would simply reply that Farfetch does not hold stock and therefore it is not responsible for the items actually being available. So the only time I started getting responses and proper responses is when I finally reached the manager, so the person responsible for the entire private client side of business at Farfetch. That's my understanding at least. And at this stage, the tone of communication has shifted drastically. The emails from this person were actually pleasant and understanding, and we managed to move forward from the stalemate. Obviously, by that time, Farfetch was unable to secure this bag. And I kept receiving further explanations that because Farfetch doesn't hold stock, they can actually charge for the item before the existence of the item is confirmed by their partner boutique from where the item is coming. Another issue of contention was the fact that when the refund hit my bank account, it was actually about $18 less than what I paid for the bag. I called my bank and they confirmed that the bank, did not charge any fees on the incoming reimbursement transactions. So I just had to assume that the difference was due to the difference in exchange rate. So I also kept pressing the matter with Farfetch, saying that this money should be refunded to me because I did not think that I should be bearing any financial consequences from this overall experience. I did not cancel the order. Farfetch did. I did not understand why I should be losing any money in this entire experience. And once again, it is only when I started talking to the manager that I received a form of compensation for the lost money. And that compensation was 100 US dollars credit to my Farfetch account. This, I thought, was really quite pleasant because I received some level of compensation for what I thought was overall quite an unpleasant experience. By the way, this experience also dragged on for weeks. It actually took me about 4 to 5 weeks since the order was cancelled to get this compensation and kind of close the matter. With all of this being said, my experience led me to think a bit more closely about designer collaborations and what they do to our shopping and consumer experience. And I think my biggest lesson is that these designer collaborations really create a massive feeling of missing out. When my order was cancelled by Farfetch, I was literally devastated. I do not remember being so upset over a handbag at any other time of my life. This cancelled order really affected me for days, and I was so upset that I missed out on the opportunity to get such a special and rare item. And what didn't help was that every single channel that I follow on YouTube was showing unboxings of these Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami items. And I think I just fully gave in to this idea that I totally missed out on something so incredibly amazing and so incredibly special. And when several days passed and I actually gained some clarity, I realized two things that I wanted to also cover in today's video. First of all, one of the reasons these designer collaborations are so popular is because they create a sense of rarity and exclusivity, which drives people to purchase these items just for the sake of having them, as opposed to purchasing them for their quality or their aesthetics or their value. Secondly, upon further examination, I really found out that at least most of these items are actually not as rare as we would like to think. So first of all, let's talk about this sense of rarity and exclusivity. I think these designer brand collaborations created a sense of rarity and exclusivity because, in general, the luxury market has become so incredibly saturated. And generally speaking, luxury items from brands like Gucci, Dior, Fendi, and Tiffany have become so increasingly common. And I feel that commonality probably drives down the sales because, by far and large, most people do not want to be wearing the same stuff that everybody else is wearing. So, a brand collaboration is an opportunity to create something allegedly rare and different, something that can spike the sales and create an additional interest in a particular brand, an interest that might have been somewhat lost. However, as I mentioned before, upon further consideration, we can actually see that many of these collaborations and many of these items are really not as rare as we would like to think. So let's take the Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collaboration. If I look on StockX, which I know is a less desirable way to shop, but it is an available way to shop. So if I look there, there are still quite a few Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami items available. And by the way, for many of them, the price is actually on the decline. So the bag that I really wanted, Speedy 25, is now available on StockX, or rather, it has been available on StockX. And while at first it was priced at, I believe, around 8,000 US dollars, the price now is much lower. It is about 4,300 US dollars. So this price is still higher than retail, and of course, you're not getting all of the experience of shopping at the boutique and getting all of their packaging, but the item is available almost 2 months after the original release date. There are other items that are still available online, like both Nano Speedies in black and white, as well as Speedy Soft 30 in black multicolor. And the prices for these items are, more or less comparable to the type of prices that we saw on the official websites and also in the boutiques. Of course, depending on where in the world you are actually located. You can also get some items, slightly below retail. I have not done all of the research, but there is this notebook available that is priced for 117 US dollars on StockX, just slightly below retail. I think it actually retailed for 120 US dollars at a boutique. So, if you really wanted these Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collaboration items, you can still purchase them, even though the price might be slightly higher and the experience is not going to be the same. But the very availability of these items kind of negates the full notion of how rare these collaboration items are. What I think is true, however, is that after the initial drop and the initial hype, our interest kind of vanishes. I really think these items hold the greatest value at the time when everybody wants them. And as weeks and months go by, the items actually lose their appeal and lose their value. Everybody wanted to unbox a Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami collaboration at the beginning of January because it was a thing to do. Couple of months down the road, the hype moves on to another set of items, and these once desirable items become somewhat forgotten, and they are still available from resellers on StockX, for example, because the hype is just not there anymore. But things get even more interesting when we look at other, earlier, older collaborations. Let's talk, for example, about Gucci and Adidas collaboration. I feel like this collaboration moved from the boutiques to the outlets and then to the resale market, and the market is still saturated with these items. If I search on places like the Real Real and Vestiaire Collective, there are so many Gucci and Adidas collaboration items that are now available at a very low price. They are in pristine condition, not worn with tags. Okay, to be honest, I do not remember what the original prices for these items were at the boutiques, but now on Vestiaire Collective, you can get this white Gucci Adidas jacket for about 588 US dollars. And you can get these white cardigans with the Gucci Adidas logo for about 599 US dollars. And what is really striking is that there is so much availability. And all of the items that I'm scrolling through right here are new items with tags, never worn, in pristine condition. Of course, looking on the pre-loved websites, you have to think about authenticity, but this is really not the subject of our conversation today. What I'm simply kind of trying to show is that items that once seemed so appealing and so rare and so desirable actually become so commonplace when the hype dies down and nobody really wants them anymore. We can also see the same happening with items from other collaborations. For example, I found quite a few Fendi and Marc Jacobs collaborations items on StockX. For example, this Fendi by Marc Jacobs baguette is retailing for 2,571 US dollars, below retail price. There is another option right here, retailing for even less, 1,700 US dollars. Both bags are new and both are retailing well below the original retail price. I was also stocking Fendaci items on Vestiaire Collective. I actually really want to buy something from this collaboration. And I found this pair of leggings for 262 US dollars. I also found a couple of bags like this mini Fendigraphy. It is really cute, in pristine condition, comes with a full set, and is retailing for 1,419 US dollars. These mini bags on Fendi website, just the regular bags in leather, retail for about 2,250 US dollars right now. So this Fendaci option is actually a great price, I think. I could also find two Fendaci baguettes. These are priced higher, over 3,000 US dollars, which actually brings me to my next point. So my next point is some collaborations and some specific items from collaborations are definitely more desirable than others. And when we look at more desirable collaborations and items, they are indeed more difficult to find, or they come with a higher price tag. Let's look at this Fendaci baguette. It is retailing for over 3,800 US dollars on Vestiaire Collective right now. Slightly more expensive than we perhaps expect. But that's because this particular bag was, as far as I'm concerned, really a standout item from this collaboration. It is perhaps one of the most representative items from the collaboration and therefore holds more intrinsic value as opposed to other items. Another exemplary item from this collaboration is this silk shirt that is now available on StockX for about 2,500 US dollars. That's about 1,000 US dollars above the retail price. Why? Well, because I think that this silk shirt is emblematic of Versace as a design house and is therefore a standout and more desirable item from the Fendi and Versace collaboration. Another famous collaboration, Fendi and Tiffany, is actually very difficult to locate online now. Why? I think because the stock was so limited, because the items actually included real Tiffany silver in them, and so the items actually have more intrinsic value. And actually, the entire collaboration was executed so well that in its nature, it is just kind of more valuable. I found the new nano baguette from this collaboration on the Real Real. The bag is executed in satin and is retailing for 3,000 US dollars, which is actually below retail if I'm not mistaken. But these bags in new condition are very difficult to find online these days. So, all of this is to prove that some items and some collaborations do have more value than others, and thus become more expensive or more difficult to find. In sum, I do think that designer collaborations maximize the hype around the brand, and many of them lose their appeal quite quickly. If you are interested in some past collaborations, you can still find items online, many times at a great discount. Some items, however, do keep their value. These are standout items from particular collaborations or collaborations that were very limited and very well executed. These items are still available online often, just at a higher price. Anyway, that's it from me today. Let me know in the comments down below, have you ever experienced FOMO with regards to designer collaborations? And if you found my thoughts today interesting, please do not forget to like this video. And before you go, watch this video next. In this video, I'm talking about an amazing item from Fendi and Sarah Jessica Parker collaboration that I did manage to secure through Farfetch. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Take care and bye bye.